My name is Ryan Edward Strickland. This is my book, Is Your Mind Shackle Free? Based on psychological slavery. I'm retired military, I'm a comedian. Today, on April 27th, 2020, I seen a video that was posted by Lady Jade, a radio personality. All right, so I'm gonna ask you all to do this for me. Open your mind so your ears can hear. Once your ears are open, your eyes will see. Once your eyes see, your mind will process the knowledge we have obtained so that we can properly resolve our own issues. Angela Ray was on the Breakfast Club one time, and they was talking about the presidential candidates, and she was telling Charlemagne that he could use his platform to get some messages across to assist our so-called community. However, Charlemagne felt that it was up to the presidential candidate to come up with an agenda and present it to the people, to us. Okay, so I like to say this. White people do not know what we need. They don't know what we want. Some of them don't even care, to be honest with you. But to be honest with you, we're not their responsibility. We say that we are free and we want to be free, but we rely on them to come up with the solutions to our problems, even though like their ancestors did cause us problems, right? Their ancestors caused us problems, and they are benefiting from these problems that their ancestors caused us, because some of them are still living under that regimen and following those rules. That's causing us problems still in this day and age. But it's been over 400 years, right? And we ourselves have not figured out what our problems are. And if we don't know, how in the hell do we expect them to know? But I'm going to share with you what I do know. At the end of the day, it's like this. What people say and share with people, for the most part, is from their life's experiences and from their research. And this is what I get from my life experiences and from the research that I've done. And I see that there is no market for the American, Nubian, African descendant man. None. And being that there is no market for us, there's no purpose for us and no use for us in the eyes of the American government. So I'm going to break this down for you. When it comes down to buying power, we really don't have any. When it comes down to what they see that we need in the market for us to purchase so they can make money off of us, we don't have nothing. And Jordans, strip clubs, and prisons don't count. Because they make a lot of money off of us in prison, but I'm going to get to that part. But purchasing Jordans and going to strip clubs, that is a limited market for us. and for them to make money off of us. So therefore, they don't see us having a purpose. They don't have a purpose for us to be in existence. Our women, that's another story. There's a market for them, an unlimited market for women. Uncharted territory for us. They don't have anything that we absolutely need that we would go out and buy and keep purchasing on a regular basis. The only thing they see us for is this: as athletes, entertainers, pleasure, because they love for us to please them sexually, and labor. And labor comes in form of free labor, and that's when we go to prison. When we go to prison, it's free labor. Okay? So they seek us out because they want to make money off of us and our talents. But they do not want us to be in charge of ourselves to obtain our level of success. They want to be behind it so they can make money off of us. That's how they make money off of us. But technically, that still is no market for us, really. This is still slavery. The only thing that we truly own in this world is our image, our word, and our character. Our voices have been muted with slander, whether it be that we're crazy, we're deemed crazy, we're criminals, homosexuals, or through death. And to them, that's another market for us. It's killing us. Because a dead nigga is a profitable nigga. So when you see a person such as myself and other people dropping knowledge that's beneficial to the American, Nubian, African descendant community, our citizens rather. I'm not going to say community, I'm going to call it citizens, because we are citizens of this country. They don't really hear us. They mute us, say we're terrorists, or mute our voices and say that, and it's static noise, basically. Now, people like Gaspar Yenga, Stokely Carmichael, Fred Hampton, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Bayard Rustin, Nat Turner, James Baldwin, Paul Robeson, Medgar Evers, Dick Gregory, Harry Belafonte. Everything that they said in the past still affects us to this day. It's affecting us now. Nothing's changed. Everything that they fought for back then in this way the hell back from slavery time to now still affects us now. Nothing has changed. Just the people have changed. But the narrative remains the same. We're still fighting for the same type of issues to be addressed that they fought for back then. When you have people like Damon Dash speaking out, they want to talk crap about him. And why? Why do they talk crap about Damon Dash? Because he's persistent about being a free thinker. He doesn't think like everybody else does. And they find that a problem. See, Damon Dash is the only one that actually gave President Donald Trump a run for his money. Damon Dash, when Donald Trump had a show called The Apprentice, Damon Dash had a show called The Hustler, trying to teach us how to make money. And people had a problem with that man. Y'all don't get it. You just don't get it. We as the American, Nubian, African descendant men are endangered species. But no one's trying to save us, not even ourselves. we ourselves are not trying to save ourselves. Again, there's no market for us. And there's no market for us because we have not created a market for us. Until we create a market for us that shows that we are truly people that are worthy of living, they're going to keep assassinating us. Or we can just leave the country. We can leave the country and they tell us, this is a double standard right here, or contradictory, or hypocrisy. They tell us to leave the country, go back to Africa. Some of you've never been to Africa. I have been to Africa and I liked Africa. And I would go back to Africa. But see, they tell us to go back to Africa, but they really don't mean it. Because if they meant it, for one, if we renounce our citizenship, it went from a couple of $100 to $2,500 or $3,500 to renounce your citizenship and become a citizen in another country. All right? That's one thing. The other thing is, if you have child support and you owe child support and you're in the system, you can't get a passport to leave the country. If you have a criminal record, you can't get a passport to leave the country. So damn it. They don't want you to leave the country, even though they say leave the damn country. They really don't, because they can make money off of you with free labor or by killing you. Because you can go to prison, nigga, or be a dead nigga. One of those two. But we're going to make some money off your ass. Or if you're an athlete or entertainer, they can make money off you that way, because they hire their friends to manage you. They hire their friends to manage you. So you got your agent, you have your attorney. Your agent and your attorneys, they might be related or they could be best friends. But they don't look like you. Managing you. So you seek them out like they seek you out. You seek them out to solve your issues, and they seek you out to make money off of you whenever they can make money off you. Think about that. One last thing before I wrap it up. The game of chess depicts the Nubian man's life. Everybody on the board is out to get the king, to trap him or to capture him. But the queen can move freely without any limitations. The king has limitations. We have to stay within those limitations. If you break out those limitations, you're dead or you're in prison. Think about that. Now, another thing, like I said, before I wrap it up, I'm gonna hit you up with a few more. This is a part of that. All right, so rules are only effective if we abide by those rules. Rules are only effective if we abide by those rules. Those rules were put in place by the oppressor. Every time that we had a rule that gave us a privilege, they countered it with a rule that took that privilege away from us. Prime example. All right, so when they so-called freed the slaves, and we went downtown and we were window shopping like everybody else. And they said that if we didn't, they asked if we had money in our pockets, and if we said no, considered loitering with the attempt to steal. Loitering with the attempt to steal. They would arrest you, put you in jail, and give you right back to your previous slave owner, or to another slave owner, or held you in prison and had you work until they felt like your debt was paid. Now, I want you to think about this. Kanye West said that slavery was a choice, and everybody got upset. They got upset with Kanye, called him all kinds of names, derogatory names, Sambo, Uncle Tom. I'm like, what the hell? Look at it. I'm going to ask you this. Like I said at the beginning, I asked you this right here. To open your mind so your ears can hear. Once your ears are open, your eyes will see. Once your eyes see, our minds will process the knowledge that we obtained to properly process and resolve our own issues. Okay? Kanye said slavery was a choice. Some of those people who were slaves chose to fight back. Some of those people who were slaves ran away. Some of those people who were slaves died fighting for their freedom. And some of those people who were slaves chose to not resist and just continue to be slaves. So if you look at it from that perspective and add on to what Kanye said, and the thing about rules. Rules were put in place by our oppressor to take away from something that we was given, right? But at the same time, those rules are not law until we abide by those rules. Those rules are not law until we abide by those rules. So we choose to abide by their rules and make them laws. So we are being obedient to the rules that they made to oppress us. So if we had fought back, we wouldn't be slaves. However, we are all slaves right now. Every single one of us. Something that you need to think about. We are all slaves right now. Every single one of us. Because we are abiding by the rules that they put in place to oppress us. Until we change the narrative, they're going to continue to assassinate us, put us in prison, or put some kind of charges against us to prevent us from reaching the success and goals that we have for ourselves and for our families, until we change the narrative. If we don't change the narrative, nothing's going to change. We are following rules that were given to us by people that don't like us. Some of them just do not like us. Some of them are intimidated by us for no reason. Some of them like us, they don't like us for no reason. They have no reason to dislike us. Some of them were just raised and trained to hate us. And why? Because we have natural born talents that they envy us for having. They show us this on a regular basis. It's a bittersweet relationship. They love us and hate us and envy us all at the same time. And we are the only group of people who have been trained to be submissive to violence towards us. No one else, no other ethnicity group on this planet has been trained and has been so obedient to violence towards us. They have taken our rights to defend ourselves away from us. And we said, okay. They just hold hands. Let's see how much you can take. Put dogs on us. Beanbags, bullets, tanks, bombs. Do you all know that we are very resilient people? When slaves were actually freed, with no knowledge and no education, they migrated to different parts of America. All right, some even went overseas. All right, so check this out. Lack of education and skills, they became multimillionaires. They had thriving communities. Some people don't even know that Central Park in New York was a thriving American Nubian African descendant community. They took it because they were too wealthy. So they pushed them out. And guess what? We let them have it. Maryland, thriving. When they seen us thriving, they took it and we allowed it. Texas, San Francisco, California, it wasn't known for homosexualities and gay people. It was known for thriving African American communities, Nubian families, strong Nubian families, fathers, mothers, children, educated. They started going to college and educating themselves. They took it. Missouri, they took it. Oklahoma, they took it. The American Nubian African descendant dollar never left the hands of the African American Nubian person, because it went from city to city to state before it ever went back to a white community, because we were not allowed to trade with them. We was not allowed to conduct business with them other than being their servant. Think about that. We were not allowed to conduct business with them other than being their servant. We had movie theaters, schools, hotels, clubs, and a lot of other businesses, beauty salons, barbershops. The money went from town to town, city to city, state to state. We was in our own world and we were thriving. But now look at us. We don't have a market, people, especially the Nubian man. We have no market. We need to change that.